Is Buddhism a religion? These days you'll often see a lot of claims being thrown around that the Buddha did not want to create a new religion, or that it was never supposed to be a religion, he was just a philosopher, things like that. And a lot of this comes from early scholars of Buddhism here in the West, and the different revisionist theories that they had made once Buddhism came to Western shores. Some of them had been interested in Buddhism as a potential substitute for Christianity, one that would be friendlier to scientific rationalism. But in order to do that, they had to ignore a lot of the scripture and the practices that were prevalent at the time. And in doing so, they really kind of derided a lot of the already existing Buddhist traditions around the world, dismissing a lot of their beliefs and practices as superstitious nonsense that was tacked on after the Buddha's death. And this kind of revisionism is still very common today. However, I wouldn't say that it's reflective of how Buddhism was actually practiced and believed for most of its history. You may also hear claims that Buddhism isn't a real religion because it doesn't focus on a creator god like the Abrahamic religions do. And when we're talking about definitions of the word religion, we must remember that it's kind of a modern word, and it's used by scholars to kind of explore and study traditions that had existed before the distinction between the secular world and the religious world had really been a thing. Because of this, definitions for religion are kind of contextual, depending on what exactly a scholar is studying about religion at the time. But I would say that most religions tend to be very general. For instance, you could say religion is the belief in supernatural beings or spirits, and Buddhism would fit under the vast majority of these definitions. Some modern definitions are so wide, in fact, that people have been tempted to kind of put belief systems under that umbrella which wouldn't conventionally go there. For example, utopian political frameworks and such. In any case, my answer to the question would be yes, Buddhism is definitely a religion.